Necesitamos estampillas que cambien.
You are now tuned in to your number one radio station.
Violent people.
Radio.
Hello and welcome everyone to Violent People Radio. This is episode 35. We have, in addition to myself, Pat, we have Chris.
Hello.
We have Sam.
Howdy.
And he got so mad at us that we did another Saw Thoughts without him that he had to come back despite being sick. We have Dan.
I'm back and I'm never leaving again.
And we were just talking about, before we went on the air, we were just talking about how mad Dan is that they have a woman in every class of the Indie Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Okay, this is a good bit because how the fuck is Lufisto your first woman? If you're gonna induct a woman, you go with her first?
Who would
Who's
you
in the
prefer?
case?
I mean, either the next two women they do are better, Cheerleader Melissa or Mercedes Martinez, Sarah Del Rey.
Daisy
I don't know.
Hayes.
Maybe they inducted Lufisto for all the positive contributions she's made to the locker room atmosphere over the years.
I feel like you could maybe, if you're gonna just count from like Shimmer, I feel like Lacey and Rain on IWA Mid-South shows are like proto Shimmer. So either of them.
I'm shocked that they didn't induct what was her name in Ring of Honor, Daphne's character, when she was like Lucifer or whatever.
This is cool because did anyone listen to? We're gonna immediately, I guess, plug Q and TR, like Tim's podcast with Daniel Makabe and Nicole Matthews, where he made sure to tell Nicole that I don't respect women.
I have not listened yet. It is on my docket, but that's great. I love it. I can't wait.
I love like she gets to find out about my existence by being like, this guy's Daniel did go. He's not a misogynist for real, which I guess helped. I don't know.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Dan, this is
yeah.
why you don't
Such a
do
good
this
guy.
problematic bit. You bought in too hard.
Lying
I
a
really
little
did.
bit there.
So I think the only solution here is we have to put Nicole Matthews in the Violent People Hall of Fame.
I mean,
Good luck.
These voters are nuts, and we're getting blamed for it.
I
We
mean,
should
if
get
you
blamed
hang
for
out,
it. We selected them. We drafted them.
Not talking about the voters.
So-
We're not. I'm not. It's like when Meltzer gets yelled at for his awards. I feel like Dave Meltzer right now. Is what I'm saying.
Meltzer has no control
poor
over who
wife.
gets nominated. It's not his role.
But speaking of the Violent People Hall of Fame, the morning that this episode of VPR goes up, you still have something like 2 days to vote. You might be able to get in votes past the deadline if I forget to turn voting off. But vote. We are currently at, as of this sentence, we're at 32 ballots. My goal is to hit 1 million. So please tell all your friends, DM wrestlers, and yell at them to vote in this. If anyone knows Wade Keller, if anyone has Wade Keller's phone number and can text him a link to the Hall of Fame survey, please do so.
I have Rob Van Dam's phone number.
I'll send it to
On behalf of violentpeople.co, I am condoning harassment in order to hit 1 million voters in the Hall of Fame.
I'll send it to Rover, and Rover will send it to Wade Keller.
That's a good system.
So I don't know. Wade Keller might have a restraining order on Rover.
I'll send it to
Well, so
Rovert,
far-
and Rovert has no way to get it to Ethan Page. They never talk.
Oh man, can you imagine if someone sent in a ballot saying like Ethan Page, I'd be like, okay, whoever this person voted for, like their picks are getting in. Which
Well, you just
I
gave up
say
the
that.
secret.
Yeah, no, but I say that now I'm going to be able to disqualify them all because like 5 people are going to send in stuff saying Ethan Page.
Just figure out which ballot has the most ego, and that's Ethan Page.
As
All
far
I
as I
gotta say
know,
is,
he's all ego.
well, that would make it the most, 100%.
I guess that's true. Yeah, you can't get better than that.
Yeah, but make sure it doesn't have confidence, because it's not confidence.
Make sure it has no id or super ego. But also, if you are a Brock Lesnar fan, mobilize your friends. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say on the current standing of who might be getting in or might not get it in. Brock Lesnar, I don't know what happens, but it seems like people have soured on him a tiny bit.
Well, there's some court documents you can read.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I like wrestling. I don't read.
All I'm gonna listen.
We're not
Triple
lawyers
Triple
here,
H doesn't
folks.
have time.
We're not
How do I have
lawyers.
time? All I'll say is someone who's doing a little better than Brock Lesnar, Sabu. His dream match is against Brock Lesnar, so vote for him together.
Dan's been
He
telling us
wants Brock Lesnar. He's
repeatedly.
settling for Joey Janela.
Vote for Mr. Ganasuke.
Oh man, can't believe we didn't nominate Joey Janela. What the fuck are we
who's-
doing?
I thought he was just in automatically.
Oh, he's
Mr.
like one of those
Ganasuke?
1,000
Yeah, Mr.
initial
Ganasuke
entrance.
is in automatically. He's the coolest wrestler ever. I love him.
He, for all the, women's wrestling fans, he was a trainer for Ice Ribbon for a long time. He and Emi Sakura go way back. You got to give it up for Gansuke.
One of the Sleaze legends.
Just an all-time great look of, the genie pants and the blonde hair and the beard. So guys, how you doing?
I'm chilling. I had a couple beers with dinner, so I'd be riled up. I would be riled up at Fight Haskins for this episode.
That sounds good to me. Did you watch any wrestling though, Chris? Did that get you riled up?
I decided after 2 weeks of not watching any wrestling, I would watch exactly 2 shows.
Which 2 shows?
Was there a scientific process to choose these shows, or did you go on gut, or was it just like, okay, these are the first things to pop up in front of my face?
I thought I would watch some lucha.
Well, and 2 is a nice round number.
From January, with the intention of rounding up some January lucha in the next couple weeks for the site.
Oh shit.
So I watched the first 2 Lucha Memes shows of the year. There was one on January 1st and one on January 5th. There was also one on January 19th, but
that one's good.
Yeah, I am looking forward to watching that one too, especially the main event is a Damus hardcore match that I've heard good things about. But I did not have the time.
Well, I'm excited because I skipped these first 2, so I'm excited for your roundup and right now for you to tell me how it went.
So the first one is a watchable enough show, but nothing nothing like super go out of your way to watch. Argus and Gaius have a pretty promising start to their match with Belial and Yoruba before it gets cut short. There's a fun little tag match with Corsario Negro Jr. and Draco versus the Mexa Boys, who are also on that January 19th show. So if the Mexa Boys keep working Lucha Memes, that is going to be very fun. But the easily the highlight of the show is Judas El Traidor versus Flystar. Get some good Yaves, get a little bit of crowd brawling, get just really well worked. Not like write up material for the column, but like just on the borderline, just like not like super super great, but like a fun matchup between two really fun indie guys. Considering a lot of like January 1st Lucha indie shows are not good in general, having a good match is a highlight to be praised. So shout out to Judas El Traidor and Flystar for having a good January 1st Lucha show or Lucha match. Cachorro de Guerra and Sagittarius also have a pretty decent match in the main event. But the easy highlight is like the January 5th show blows it. It blows that show out of the water. The tag match that opens it is kind of whatever. But immediately after, there's a Falls Count Anywhere match with Steelheart and Ray Del Barrio with some good blood, good brawling, pretty quick in and out, doesn't overstay its welcome. Really fun. That I just had a lot of fun with that match. And immediately after that match is the highlight of both shows I watched, which is Argus and Gaius versus Karma 1 and Karma 2, which is just a killer tag match. Like I've been kind of banging the drum on Argus and Gaius being one of the best tag teams in Lucha for the past year plus, and rapidly getting better. And this is just a phenomenally worked work rate Lucha tag match. Some great mat work, some great high spots from Argus and Gaius. Like Karma, like the karmas are phenomenal as well, and like for a tag match that's like third on the card, it kind of blew my expectations out of the water. I thought it would be fun, but it was dynamite. Like they absolutely killed it. Money thrown in the ring, and like, which is crazy because like this entire show was like kind of set the standard for what I want a lucha indie card to be in 2025, because you've got two really solid singles matches between Magnetico and Energia, and then Avisman and Celtic King. With some more just really, really solid mat work, followed by a little bit of crowd brawling. Magnetico and Energia got the crowd really into it. Have a really hot like pose off before the finish that I thought was really fun. And then the main event is Ultimo Dragon is on the show. So you've got Hukai, La Estrella, and Ultimo Dragon versus Cachorro de Guerra, Judas El Traidor, and Rey Espartano, which is a neat main event. It's probably the weakest match other than the opening tag, but it's a hot main event. It's really fun. It's got some fun work. It's cool to see like the Lucha Memes guys working Ultimo Dragon.
How's Dragon looking these days?
He's looking like old S Ultimo Dragon.
I just,
Like-
it's like, because I've watched all these like Homicide matches from 2024, and it's like, okay, Homicide can't walk anymore. And just wondering how our boy Yoshihiro has held up.
But I mean, he knows how to work a main event indie lucha trios match, and that's all he needs to do. And he's
like, I know we don't ever talk about it on this show, but he's like a regular in Dragon Gate. Like he works every show.
Wow.
I mean, I'm gonna guess he worked over 100 matches last year, easy. I don't know why, but it's a thing.
That's just my guess. After hearing that, my guess is okay, divorced.
yeah, he worked 113 matches last year.
Yeah, I said I feel like I don't watch Dragon Gate, but I like read results for some reason, and I'm always like Ultimo Dragon, Ultimo Dragon, Ultimo Dragon.
And good for him. I'm not checking that out.
No.
But he comes into Lucha Memes, I'm checking that out.
Now I have Cage Match open. I know you guys have probably explained to me before, but what dictates who has a Cage Match page?
I think the answer is probably Striga and Matt Max.
Because Argus and Gaius don't have a Cage Match page, and it's like they wrestle every week.
Well,
almost
Lucha on
none
tape
of these.
in general.
Yeah, almost none of these guys have cage matches.
Yeah, Cacharo doesn't have one. Argus and Gaius don't have one. It's very strange.
Yeah, Rey Espartano doesn't have one
Yeah.
either, and he's been around for a while now. Steelheart also has been around for a while now, doesn't have one. It's fine. Whatever.
I mean, if you're going to cage match for a definitive lucha resource, you already fucked up.
I mean, that's fair enough.
So
All right. So in February, we're gonna get the January Lucha Roundup. He guaranteed it.
I guarantee it. Calling my shot.
I'm excited because of news that dropped today. I'm excited for what you will be seeing in your January Lucha Roundup watching because El Tejano Jr. and Supernova have announced that there are now minis of themselves.
Oh, sick.
So you are going to get to round up. Certainly, I'm sure every indie promotion is just falling over their feet to book Mini Tejano Jr. and Mini Supernova.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure I'll be putting them. I'm sure I'll have 5 matches of them, and then they'll be all over the honorable mentions too. Sorry to Argus and Gaius. I guess
Oh,
you're off.
I think they would be called the honorable mini-chins.
Oh, true.
But you,
So
Dan, have you watched? Oh,
I've watched a
Yeah.
lot of wrestling. I was gonna ask Chris a quick question, which I may be spoiling
Yeah.
our discussion for our awards show. Argus and Gaius or Mexa Boys?
I would probably go Mexa Boys just based off of they just have way more tape.
Yeah. I was gonna base it on I don't like the way Argus and Gaius look, but that's rude.
I admit that when I first saw Argus and Gaius listed for stuff, I confused Argus with Argos, who is one of Mystico's brothers. He's one of the Dr. Carante Juniors in CMLL right now. And I was
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, oh, man, that guy fucking sucks. You know, it's like, and then I see people on Discord being like, Argus and Gaius, the Lucha Memes match was great. And I'm like, really? And then it clicked for me that like, oh, okay, Argus with a U is someone different than Argos with an O. Which, you know, if you've been following my journey and learning to read, that's a big step for me.
Yeah, we're really proud of you.
Yeah, you're getting there, man. As far as wrestling I've watched, I've been gone 2 weeks, so I've watched a fair amount. Like I said, I skipped straight to the January 19th Lucha Meme show, just fully based on the main event is a Demos singles match. Before that, you get a Mexa Boys tag that's fun. Toxin versus Cacharo's fun. But then the main event is Demos versus Adam Del Castillo, and you're gonna find this hard to believe. A Damus hardcore match. It was fucking awesome. Grimy, dirty, bloody, brawling in the stands with not even the stands, brawling in the seats. Where you can barely see, but you can see they're punching each other and kicking and bleeding. Honestly, there's like an exact line. There's a spot that Adam goes for like this like shitty Van Terminator where he has the referee hold hand and then jumps off the middle of the ropes to Damos laying down in the corner, and then Damos throws a chair at him midair, and like from that exact moment on, match of the year. The stuff beforehand, not quite at that level. It takes a little while to get going, but from that point on, just awesome. And then I'm not gonna spoil it, but the finish is fucking amazing, and I hope we get a bunch of more Damus singles matches in 2025. Let's see. I mentioned Tim's Nicole Matthews podcast. That got me watching a lot of 2024 Nicole Matthews. Her versus Liza Hall is like a really cool. It's like 6 or 7 minutes, and it's like a technical match and a lot of ground stuff. And I think it's fun. But sometimes, like when two wrestlers decide they're gonna trade holds and work on the ground, they're like, well, we have to go 20, 25 minutes. This is just in and out. I'm not going to talk about any of this stuff too much just because there's a 3.5 hour podcast talking about Nicole Matthews in 2024 if you're really interested. But that match, and then Gigi Ray versus Jasmine Allure versus Nicole Matthews is a triple threat match with two women I don't really know. and I went in with like very low expectations, and it's fucking awesome. It's at this mall too, so it looks cool. And then there's less triple threat tropes than your average indie triple threat match, and it's elimination. Then it turns into a cool singles match. But yeah, definitely check those two out and listen to that pod and watch anything I heard that sounds good. Sorry guys. Then I watched 2 Slim J matches. Slim J did not wrestle a ton in 2024, but in the last couple months I guess this was, I don't know when this one took place, I never had done date, but CV Suave versus Slim J took at Dragon Con, which is like a gaming convention.
Mm-hmm.
They have a wrestling show every year, and it's really funny because it's just like you get a huge crowd because Dragon Con. I mean, I'm not as big in the gaming as I used to, but it's got to be the biggest or like the second biggest. It's either that or Gen Con, I think. So just rows and rows of people to see a Slim J match we don't usually get. He wrestles CB Suave, who really really likes Daniel Bryan. Like is basically a guy cosplaying Daniel Bryan, which a large chunk of indie wrestlers are doing, but CB to another level there. I mean, he's got similar gear. He does all his moves, does the flying knees, does the label lock. He does the uppercuts, but he's extremely bad at the uppercuts, and it's a big part of the match. But Slim J rules.
A lot of
Yeah.
people at the uppercuts.
Yeah, it's just they're not up and they're not cutting. They're just a man flinging his arm a few inches in front of Slim J's face.
So I got to say, what you go to Dragon Con, Slim J is there. What games do you think he's playing? Do you think he's like a Settlers of Catan board game type? Do you think he's like a collectible card game guy? Do you think he's like an RPG tabletop guy?
Well, this
What do
is
you
in
think Slim J's
Atlanta,
up to?
so I think Slim J, because this was the first match on the show, despite being for the world title. So I think Slim J is getting to an Atlanta strip club as fast as he can. I think he's in and out.
All right. I'm just thinking it'd be fun to play like Yu-Gi-Oh with Slim J. Also, Dragon Con has a lot of like sexy cosplayers, so he might not be rushing that either. A lot of people like putting on their best like sexy Baldur's Gate outfit.
Yeah.
Now I didn't watch
Slim
the rest
J's
of the
hanging out with
show,
Shadowheart.
but it seems like it's like a pretty straightforward wrestling show just based on the names that are on the show, which is like cool because all the conventions around here, like Galaxy Con and Origins, and like just the ones that I know about that are in driving distance of here, they do weird like cosplay wrestling shows. I can't think of her name. Well, no, in a lame way. Chikara was cool because I liked it when I was younger.
Shockwave Robot.
Who's the librarian? Right, her name's out of my
Leva
head
Veda
right now.
Scott.
Yeah, Leva
not-
Bates,
Leva
not Veda
Bates.
Scott.
Veda Scott's
she-
just a nerd.
She's still on these shows, and then like they have like Alex Daniels dressing up as like Captain Kirk, and Caleb Conley's on them like 7 times.
That sounds horrendous.
Oh, it's so bad. Like I've tried watching this stuff because I'm like, well, I mean, maybe it's funny, maybe there's some accidentally good wrestling. It's all so bad, and I'm only half joking. Like I watched the show where Caleb Conley was on it 3 times under 3 different cosplays. None of them was
I don't
suicide.
like that. Oh,
So I kept thinking
you know
he
what?
might show
Good
up
for
4
Caleb
times.
Conley making a career out of putting stuff over his face so no one can tell it's him.
And he'll just be like, I'll wrestle every match on the show. Who cares?
I was
More
going to say
money for
Kilco
me.
made a career out of selling High Spots DVDs at the merch table, but
Oh man, because
actually, do you think Suicide technically counts as a video game cosplay even when he's on like TNA TV?
Well, wasn't he on TNA TV because he was in the video game? Or is that
No. Well, yeah, no, he was in the video game, and then like 6 months went by, and then they introduced a Suicide on, because rather than have like a create a wrestler story mode in the video game, instead you were just a masked guy who never speaks, like Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe, and that was who you played as in the story mode of the TNA game. And then like 6 months after that, they were like, "Oh shit, Daniels, can you put this on.
And then they pass it around between like 12 other guys, and then eventually they like I don't know if it was one of their thousands of times changing channels, but couldn't they not call Suicide for a while?
Yeah, Hulk Hogan changed his name to Manic by like papal fiat or something.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was when TJP had the mask.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, that makes
TJP had
sense.
the mask, and Hulk Hogan just brought him out one day and was like, "Brother, you're not Suicide anymore. You're Manic." And it's just like, "All right, I'm Manic now." And
I
that
want
was the
Hulk
entire.
Hogan to call out other more like wrestlers and be like, "You're not Seth Rollins anymore. You're
Well,
Steve McGee."
Triple A did that with the second La Parka, where he brought out uh fucking what's his name Angelical, and was like, "You're not Angelical anymore. You are now Mystices Jr." And he was just like, "Great, I'm Mystices Jr. now."
Wrestling fucking
And
rules.
that was their entire explanation for why they gave him a new gimmick. Which, I mean, to be fair, a lot of times they don't even bother with an explanation. It's just like, okay, you were Eterno last show, and you're Abismo Negro Jr. now. So, I don't know.
Well, that also makes me think, why is like does Caleb Conley, does he officially own the Suicide character, or he just take the costume and TNA's like, oh well?
I'm pretty sure that Anthem owns the Suicide character now.
Mm.
And it's probably just one of those, like, no one gives a shit until someone gives a shit situations.
Until someone's like, we got to bring Suicide back to TV.
Yeah.
Um,
Till TNA hires Blake Christian and they're like, oh, we cannot put that face on TV, brother.
Oh, do you guys want to go match by match over the GCW show instead of all this?
The GCW versus the world?
Yeah, no, I'm
Or
kidding.
the
Please don't
people
talk
versus
about or
GCW?
people
Or...
versus GCW. Yeah, we can go back to GCW
Yeah.
versus the world, I guess.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, we didn't even talk about the Blake Christian match.
Oh,
No, but I did watch also
gonna need another beer.
Slim J versus John Schuyler, and somehow they had never faced each other in a singles match.
What?
Yes,
That feels impossible.
well, a singles match that I can find a record of. I'm sure they probably have, but there's nothing on Cage Match, and when I googled it, nothing came up.
Dylan Hales, what are you doing?
You're gonna find this surprising. This was way better than Slim J versus CV Suave. This fucking rules. Slim J's the face in this, and watching this back to back, it's really cool because Slim J he's so good. He basically changes nothing. Like he still like just does the same like cocky shitty moves, but in a way that he's a face and the crowd buys it. And plus, you have John Schuyler being a heel. This was really really good. This took place in. I'm gonna have to look it up because it's VCW and I don't know what it is on the top of my head. But John Schuyler is the heel, and this reminds me a lot of the Samoa Joe versus John Cena match that came out. In that it's just really viral pro wrestling. This took place on December 7th. It's just really really basic, but it just shows you how good just like two guys that are good at wrestling can have a basic wrestling match and it be fucking awesome. Schuyler wins with some shenanigans. He's a heel, he's the last hole. And then Slim J challenges him either. It's hard to understand because he's Slim J and he's talking in a rap. He's doing a little freestyle. So he's either challenging him to a 2 out of 3 falls match or to 2 more matches. But anyway, I'm fucking on board.
That's crazy. They've never had a singles match.
Well, I'm like, as I was watching, I was like, let me pull it up. Maybe I'll watch some of their old ones. And I was like, oh, they don't exist. Also, I don't really watch TNA, so I haven't seen a lot of John Schuyler recently. He's very wide nowadays. He's on that Sami Callihan diet.
Whoa!
I'm
Come
kidding. He's
on.
nowhere near that big, but
Yeah, you can't just say that about
that's
people.
rude. But I did. Like I was googling old
White
John
Shane
Schuyler,
Taylor, Sami Callihan.
and it's shocking to see the difference. I was like, oh man, that's a whole other human. There's 2 of them now. Let's see, and then I keep going through YouTube trying to find other stuff from wrestlers that no one else watches. So I watched Low Key versus Vertigo. This takes place in Georgia Old School Championship Wrestling, where apparently Loki's somewhat irregular. It's
Oh,
hard to
that's
tell
sick.
though, because
Interesting.
Georgia Old School Championship Wrestling, GOSCW, we all love it. They only have 24 YouTube subscribers, and they don't upload a lot of their matches. But Loki on his YouTube channel has been uploading promos for matches taking place there. I was able to put that together, and this fucking rocks. Vertigo is this guy from Puerto Rico. He used to wrestle in IWA Puerto Rico forever ago. He comes out. He's like rude to a woman wrestler, so a babyface, but healed a lot of people. And Loki comes out as the face who's just frowning and huffing and puffing the whole time. And
Just the phrase "babyface Loki" is very, very funny.
but it fucking works because Vertigo just lets Loki beat the shit out of him, and he's really great at like the stooging heel. But then he's bigger than Loki because he's like a normal sized man. And so when he starts his heat segment, like he starts beating the shit out of Loki, and it's very believable. And it's just a real fun match, and it's just like it's so cool that Loki, wherever he lives, has burned every bridge that like he just has to drive down to Georgia and have matches for the promotion with 24 YouTube subscribers, and they fucking rock.
I saw
Um,
Austin Aries. I didn't watch it, but I saw Austin Aries popped up again recently.
I
Good for
think maybe
him.
I think maybe I saw he was in like Australia or New Zealand or somewhere. I don't know when that was though.
It was something from like recently.
Like I said, that's what these guys have to work because they just burn every bridge.
It was
Um,
for Apple City Championship Wrestling in Hiddenite, North Carolina
Oh,
on July 13th, 2024. So, okay, I thought it was more recent than that.
Oh,
It was
ACCW.
Austin Aries versus Drew Hood.
well, looking at his cage match, I might have made up the whole Australia thing. That might have been a fever dream.
Oh,
Oh well,
Austin, Australia. It's,
yeah, it's all the
Australian
same.
Aries.
I watched Bam Bam Bigelow versus Terry Bam Bam Gordy. And I watched this
What are you
because
doing here, Dan?
no, here's why.
The Bam Bam
He's-
Bam Bam.
Bam, 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 bam.
ECWA uploaded this to the YouTube channel because apparently, this is crazy to me, there's a TWA reunion show happening in May of this year. The match that we all asked for. Or the reunion we all asked for.
I'm
Oh.
wondering how they're gonna redo Cactus Jack versus I can't remember which Gilbert it was.
Eddie.
Yeah, it was Eddie. The bit has already fucked up because I forgot which one. Continue. Sorry.
Well, no, but that's the thing is that like most of like the guys, if you were gonna associate guys with TWA for some reason, most of them are dead. So it's just an ECW reunion show. Like it's just Francine
Yeah.
and all the ECW guys, and then for some reason Ric Flair.
Well, I want to say like out of the TWA guys, it was like only the Sandman, like because there were a whole bunch of guys in ECW who were TWA guys, like JT Smith and I think Chili Willy might have been in there, but they in ECW they were just guys. Like once it went from Eastern to Extreme, they really kind of didn't do much, except for the Sandman.
Yeah, it's all the guys that like got phased out. Like it's like they said, JT Smith and Johnny Hotbody and guys like that.
Oh my God,
And,
2025 Johnny Hotbody.
well, I don't see. I wanted to
We're
say
gonna
that he
have
passed
to-
away, but he didn't. But I also thought that Joel Goodhart, the promoter, passed away, but he also didn't. I just killed all these people in my brain.
We're gonna have to watch the show.
We are going to have to get the fucking password for the Twitch and make everyone watch this show.
Where is this show taking place, Dan?
I'm guessing Philadelphia.
Oh, we should just take a trip there.
There we go. I don't have the link in front of me anymore. Ric Flair got announced. They did
Good
a
for
major
him.
announcement, and it appears that just Joel Goodhart sitting in his living room.
That seems like it can't be correct, but I appreciate it nonetheless.
where they announced like, hey, I think he said, which is so funny, but this is what's TW 1991, 1990.
Yeah,
He's like
I mean,
the one
it's
guy,
pre-Eastern Championship Wrestling.
the one guy I always wanted but never could get was Ric Flair. It's like, no shit, you couldn't get Ric Flair.
It was
Which,
1990.
I mean,
He's the world
Yeah,
champion. What are you talking about?
and it's also crazy because like the TWA shows, if you watch them, he spent so much fucking money on those shows, dude. Because like he imagine putting on an indie in 2025 where you are flying in everyone. Like, your local guys are JT Smith but every match on the card has like someone you flew in from like another country.
Well, that's the thing is that Bam Bam versus Gordy that's at the time that's All Japan versus New Japan. Both those guys were in Japan like right before that and right after that. I mean, it's at the time it would have been a huge match, and like it took place in a high school gym. But I think Joel Goodhart, if I remember this correctly, I think someone asked him at one point like if you were a money mark, and he said, "Oh yeah, I just did it because it was fun."
Yeah, he went all in. Like he had a hotline, he had a radio show, and he just like burned through all the money. Like there was I think the last big show he did, he had I can't remember his name before he was Takashi Iizuka, but it was whatever his name was before he changed it to that. Back before he was like the Iron Claw guy, and versus Owen Hart, and like just putting that in the mid card of a random indie show is just I don't know.
It's called
We used to be a country.
It's called TWA One and Done. We
used to have beautiful brains booking wrestling.
Now this show is May 3rd.
Oh, WrestleCon.
Right before my birthday. Yeah, WrestleCon is like the event taking place around it.
You need to see if they will give you Violent People press credentials citing it's my birthday.
That's pretty good. I'll tell you, we got some good matches here. We got Breaker Morant versus Chris Wilde. The Rock and Roll Express versus the new Backstreet Boys with, for some reason, Mandy Fernandez as the ref. Miranda Gordy versus Tessa Blanchard. Tommy Rich versus Doug Gilbert, or Tommy Rich and Doug Gilbert versus Shane Douglas and question mark.
Ooh.
Hannibal versus Super Crazy. And an ECWA triple threat of Clutch Rockwell versus Darius Carter versus JD Luscious. This is just a who's who.
Oh, there's ringside seats available.
The ringside seats are only $100 a piece, so we get 4 of them. We're only at 400.
Only at 400.
We only have to
How
tell
many mugs? How
to
many
sign in
mugs?
for this.
How many mugs?
Gotta be enamel.
If you want to send Violent People to the TWA One and Done, be sure to go to our webpage and buy a mug.
I can't believe
You know what? Just cut to the chase, folks. Go to the Ko-Fi in the link tree. Donate straight to us. Buy a mug also, but the most efficient way to fuel our trip to Philadelphia is to pay us directly.
If you are someone who's always wanted to be in the wrestling industry and know what it's like, be our money mark.
I'm real mad here. I'm paying $100 for a ticket, and there's service fees.
What?
There's a $6 service fee per ticket from the 2300 Arena website. You got to be kidding me.
All right. Well, now, of course, we're not going.
I'm kind of out. Yeah, that pissed me off.
Spite.
Oh my god. I don't know what this is, but there's at the same time you can buy tickets to All You Can Sing. Oh, that's nothing to do with wrestling. I thought it was like a wrestling karaoke excited.
I was like, okay. People getting up and doing the DX theme one after the other.
I was almost back in. I guess Abner used to. Who's the kayfabe commentary guy? Sean or something. I can't think of his name, but the guy that ran the kayfabe commentary. Sean Oliver. I guess Bill Apter kept pitching him wrestling karaoke over and over again. It's like, what if a bunch of wrestlers just did karaoke? Like time he saw him, he would pitch that to him. It's like, you just want to do karaoke, man.
And
Ain't nothing wrong
that
with that.
story was heard by a young man in Scotland who grew up to be Joe Hendry.
There you go. I guess back to what I watched, because I was gone 2 weeks, guys. I watched a lot of wrestling. I was going to cover a lot of this because I talked about, it's called a teaser. I gave a little teaser in Discord.
Yeah,
That
no, you keep going because I watched one match in the last
Okay.
week. So
the
you
Tokyo
guys finish
Monster
still.
Kahagas is gonna make probably gonna make my 2024 VP 100. I watched Kahagas versus PCO versus Sin Bodhi versus Kevin Thorne from 2024, the year of our Lord. This is a monster mash. This is a 4-way elimination match. I'm a little mad. Kevin Thorne, coward, not dressed as Mordecai. They put the referee in a pumpkin
What was he
shirt.
dressed as? Was he just in a sweatshirt?
I guess he has like Kevin Thorne gear. Like, who wants that? This is
Not you.
not me. This, I guess, touches on GCW versus the People. PCO, is he cooked? Is he done?
He cannot move.
Yeah, he's awful in this. He's in a match with
He-
Sin Bodhi and
was in
Kevin
that-
Thorne, and he's awful.
Yeah, he was in that battle royal. He is shaped like a barrel. He has the mobility of a barrel. And I'm guessing he has the
He is a barrel.
functioning brain cells left of a barrel.
Well, if I was gonna rank the performance of the wrestlers in this match, it would be PCO or last, then Sin Bodhi, then Kevin Thorne, and then Kahagas, and that's the reverse order of how they're eliminated. PCO wins, and it ends with him versus Sin Bodhi. Like, they get rid of all the good wrestlers first. It's stupid. But then I was like, I saw how good Kahagas was in 2024 in this match, and I was like, let me get some more Kahagas. And he's not wrestling a who's who, sadly. He wrestles Chase Emery, who sucks, but Kahagas eats him alive. Great match. Kahagas was on a WWN show in 2024. Because of course he was. He wrestles Brian Brock, and he rocks. He's
Who
out
is
there just
Brian
being the show
Brock?
people. Yeah, I don't know, and I don't want to know.
Perfect. Okay.
He does the cool spot still where he traps people's arms in the corner and then just headbutts their chest real hard. But sometimes you can tell like he doesn't like it because he'll do it like once or twice and he'll just back up and start slapping the shit out of him instead. It seems like he's wrestling guys I've never heard of, so he's just decided he can just actually hurt them, and that's cool. That's good for me. So just go in the YouTube and do Kahagas 2024, and you will be happy. But none of these matches are over like 8 minutes. He doesn't have time for that. I watched one more match that had to do with the 2024 because I talked him up a lot for the 2010s, and I wanted to see if I could try to sneak on Colin Delaney in 24 top 100. Doesn't seem like it's going that way.
Damn.
He wrestled
What?
Big Bill Collier, and the only note I have is that it's weird that Big Bill Collier is so small because Colin Delaney's like almost the same size. Like, there's not much difference. It's not much of a. I'd not recommend you watch this one. And I saw Colin Delaney in AEW or AIW this year, and I mean him and Cheech are still doing their thing, but it's just I don't think he's going to be top 100, sadly.
They strike me as guys who are just a very functional tag team.
Yeah, I mean that's
all
how
I
they
saw
are.
of them.
They're good, yeah.
Yeah, all I saw of them was their stuff in GCW, and I mean in GCW, you stand out from the pack by just like
by
knowing
being
what
functional.
you're doing, and by being competent.
Well, that's exactly how it is
and
in
not-
AIW. They are professional wrestlers, so it's always very exciting when
and
they're wrestling.
so it strikes me as like Colin Delaney, he's a guy you could put in with someone who's like young and talented but needs focus, and he could be the focus. But if you put him in with just like two random guys who are just kind of cruising through the match, you just get a match. He was color commentator for an XPW show in 2024 though, so maybe he can get in on your top color commentators list.
It's him and Veda Scott. 1 and 2.
Him, Veda Scott, and Necro Butcher.
The other match I wrote down I wanted to talk about I think I might need to say it because I'm guessing it's the match you want to talk about, Pat.
Oh, the Lucha del Fuego.
Yeah.
I mean, go for it. I'll
Yeah,
piggyback
it's
off.
fucking Fiscal versus Abismo Negro Jr. And it's a fire match, and they're just throwing fire at
So-
each other. They got
Yeah,
I'm
flamethrowers.
so
we-
excited to watch this shit.
They have
we
a
should
torch.
specify. It's if you think of an Inferno match in like the WWF style, that's
Oh,
the
no,
match
that's
where they
their
have
versus.
the ring surrounded by fire, so that every time you hit the mat, the wind pressure of it like makes the fires leap. That's what. No, this is a match where they each have a can of hairspray and a lighter, and other assorted weapons that they douse in lighter fluid and swing at each other.
There's a
And this
spot
is in
where I can't remember who it was. I can't remember which one which now. But one of them is shooting flames, with the hairspray at the other one who has a trash can lid to block it. But you can tell that the lid got hot
yeah.
because he just tosses
I
it
believe
like
that was
really fast when he's done.
I believe that was Fiscal holding up the lid.
Okay. I will say one of the highlights.
Yeah, he chucks that thing into the fucking. We should specify too. This is in the former Bandito gym, which is now Psycho Clown's gym. And
It's
the
insane no
people
one
are-
died.
The people are a foot from the ring. There's a guardrail in theory, but a guardrail is not going to stop a
Well-
super hot trash can lid from flying at your face.
Well, they set up a board between the ring apron and that guardrail. Douse
Yes.
it with gasoline from the ring, just spraying lighter fluid. It's hitting fans. And then they light it on fire.
If they had actually used gasoline, I wouldn't have been shocked.
Yeah,
There
that's
is
true
one
too.
There's one part where they set up the board in the corner. Fiscal sets up a board in the corner, pours lighter fluid on, and if you watch in the corner, at least on the version I watched from because different people had different fan cams of it. In the one I watched, the guy at ringside like very quickly dashes over to snatch away the bottle of lighter fluid that he left like an inch away from the board he was about to set on fire.
It's for a spot that has legitimately like 12 fire spots. Very little forethought went into this.
Yeah.
I did note that in the match with like 12 fire spots, one of the spots I want to call out is that they're on the outside, and Abismo is he's putting the guy's arms, putting his arms behind the guardrail, and he's flattening his chest, doing the thing where he's gonna give him a big overhand chop. But for some reason, he does all that, and then he stops and just slaps him right in the face. And
I mean, good
this
shit.
fucking ruled. This fucking ruled. The finish worked, which is like that's your fear is like because there's a flamethrowers spot within like 40 seconds of the match starting, and I remember thinking, I don't want to sound like Jim Cornette here, but like where do you go from here? Like, is this match gonna be able to carry on for this long? It does. Everyone watch this.
I'm so
It is,
excited to watch this.
It is a fucking hoot.
If this doesn't make your list, I don't even know what the list is
Yeah,
for.
no.
Like knowing about this match, like it literally might be 2,000 words on.
Oh man.
Like all
Like, I was
apologies
sure
to
that-
Damus and Argus and Gaius and anyone else who might have a good lucha match in the month of January.
Well, that's what I say. I had the Damos match, and I was like, well, that's gonna be like the quote unquote best match that I talk about. Like the one that if you're gonna watch one, watch that one. And then I saw this, and I went, fuck all that. But yeah, that's the wrestling I watched, and wrestling needs more fire.
One thing that I loved about it is that El Fiscal versus Abismo Negro Jr. is currently one of AAA's top feuds. And they're almost certainly going to have some kind of like mask or like identity, because for those who don't know, El Fiscal is the legit son of Abismo Negro, who died in 2009 thereabouts, and Abismo Negro Jr. is Eterno, and is not related to Abismo Negro at all. It was just AAA reusing a name. So they are headed to some kind of like, identity on the line, mask on the line, who knows? And meanwhile they're going to Psycho Clowns. This is like if, in like AEW, fucking Kyle Fletcher and Powerhouse Hobbs also went off to, like ECWA and were throwing fireballs at each other for an entire match. It's just imagine, like, okay, we're booking you guys in a big Triple Mania main event. So whatever you do not end up in the hospital for months after being set on fire. And these guys are like, what
Now-
if we just, like did the stupidest fucking jackass shit we could for an entire
You
match?
you say all this, and there's a solid chance one or both these guys don't make the Triple Mania card. It's AAA.
I think that the chances are better that they do than they don't. I mean,
No, I
the
do too, but I just
guarantees,
think it
like,
wouldn't
the
be out of
Triple
the realm of
Mania.
possibility.
They need 3 Triple Mania main events. Mexico City is 100% going to be Latin Lover versus Alberto. So they need 2 more.
Yeah, I mean, maybe these guys also know that they could be getting a Triple Mania first match or identity match, or they could be getting a Triple Mania main event where they throw in 4 of their dudes. It's AAA. You can't count on anything.
That's true. They could end up in another Domo de la Muerte together.
Yeah.
Yeah, they.
So Sam, oh, go for it. Sorry, Chris.
I was about to say, I was like, yeah, they might be in a AAA main event with Dave the Clown is there, and and just like,
That was it. Dave the
Miss-
Clown's
Miss-
there.
yeah, Dave the Clown's
Hell
there.
yeah.
It's not even in the
Seven
match. He's just
Junior
What else
is
do you fucking
there.
need?
The walking corpse of Chessman. Which
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean, he
Chessman
would
is in the-
add.
Chessman's in the PCO club where he is just a fucking barrel.
Love a good barrel. Love a good barrel.
I mean,
Uh,
I say that with all respect to the walking corpse of Chessman.
Of course. I did not watch a ton of exciting wrestling this week. I am just trying to fill in my BP 100 gaps, which I have a plethora. So watch some.
So instead of
Kevin-
watching Haggis, you watched a bunch of bullshit.
To be clear, I did not really know what you're watching of Kages, and you said I had to listen to this fucking episode if I
I
wanted
guess
to
that's
hear.
true. You got me there.
And I was like,
hearing it.
well, I guess I'll be forced to hear against my will, one way or the other. And I really wasn't even paying attention to you, so that really failed me there. So we'll
download and listen, man. We need the
download,
numbers.
listen. All the numbers count. All the numbers count. But no, hey, you said Sin Bodhi, I'm there. Count me in. Watched a couple of Cavernario matches because I'm like, he is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Let's see where we're getting here. And let me tell you, one of the most frustrating experiences of my life. Watched a couple of matches, but the ability to find just easily accessible CML footage in the year of our Lord 2024, 2025, not great. I was just like, give me something. Let me watch something for the love of Pete. Did not go great. I was able to watch him versus MLW superstar Ikaro Kwan from in Arena Mexico. Is it particularly good? But I think it's an interesting watch because Kwan is not someone that I think should ever have gotten into Arena Mexico as a professional wrestler. He can be 15th row in the stands. That's about where he should be. But you know what? He goes out there, puts in some effort, and we got ourselves a match. I also watched a match where he was going up against a team with Flip Gordon. I don't think Flip Gordon stinks, folks. I think he's okay. Is he going to make my list? No, probably not. That's going a bridge too far. But
Is Flip Gordon canceled,
yes.
or is he just in Mexico? Oh, okay, all right.
But
it's
more
more
like a soft. It's a soft
it's soft
cancellation
cancel.
compared to the.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, he's dumb and Republican, and that just like
That's every wrestler.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
So he was like an outspoken flat Earth guy.
Oh, okay, all right.
Like it was that kind of like eventually he became, he was like his whole thing on being the elite was that he was like a dumb guy, and then it turns out like, oh no, that's him acting smarter than he actually is. So he also he never got the AEW hand up that other being the elite guys got. So he went down to Mexico and started a new life there.
You know what?
He seems to be less craven about it than Tessa Blanchard was, where Tessa Blanchard went down there specifically just to like get away from people who knew or cared what she had done in the past. Flip Gordon, as far as I've heard, he's got married. He lives down there with his wife. He's like his style of wrestling definitely fits in with CMLL better than it does a lot of places. So
Yeah, and I've now watched a little bit of him down there, and just generally, he's fun. He can do the things you kind of want, and some of the things that I would find maybe aggravating in different settings, like doing handstand bits, I find more charming in a lucha setting. Mostly because I think like his opposition is able to do fun stuff with it, whether it be like play up the goof a little bit more or drop kick him pretty darn hard in the face. But otherwise, watched Suri versus Hashimoto from Suriism in January 16th, 2024. Just because I feel like with how everyone talks about her, I need to watch more. Is am I pronouncing that right? Suri?
You came to the right
as
place.
far as I know.
We're all good at saying names
I
here on Blackfield Radio.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you pronounced the extra E. So
Okay.
Some would say
just
two
call
extra
her
E's.
Saray from NXT.
Anyway, it's really good. I don't know that Suri really brings like a huge extra dimension to that match. Hashimoto is phenomenal. I think that's really good. I will say I then watched AZM Takumi Aurora versus
AZM is a trick name.
Azumi.
Her name is Azumi. Yeah.
Izumi, yeah.
well, that's messed up, folks. Let me tell you.
Gotcha.
You heard it here first. You can't capitalize all of them. It's deeply fucked up if you do that. And it's not an acronym. Okay? Not my fault.
You don't know that AZM is Azumi, and Nicole Matthews thinks I hate women. What the fuck's going on?
Tim would never say I hate women. And that's just the God's honest truth.
You just ban all his
Yeah,
friends from the Discord.
I just banned everyone that clicked his link, they're out. I just tracked that shit down. Azumi and Takumi Aurora versus Natsupoi and Suri. Anyway, I DNF'd this match. Not my vibe, and it's too fucking long to not be my vibe and to finish out. Joshi Wrestling is gonna Joshi Wrestling for me. Just too long. What are we doing here? We gotta get more. Where are the Kagases of the Joshi world?
Where are the Flip Gordons of Joshi?
Where are the Flip Gordons of the Joshi world? I'm gonna be honest with you. It's gonna get. Luckily, the footage is high def enough, but it can get awfully tricky with one low rent indie lucha to figure out who the hell is who. But Joshi wrestling can get tricky too if I can't bump that thing up from 360 to 540p. Because it's like, okay, well, these tights seem like this is going to go with this person. That's not like the golden ticket to figuring that shit out. Anyway,
Could you listen to the ring introductions?
I can try, Dan. I
Okay.
can try.
I'm just asking.
I clearly didn't for this match. I can tell you that right now.
It seems like it.
I rarely do to it. Anyway, that's the point though. I think it looked cool. So I would see what she did at some other point. If that match was 10 minutes or under. Then I watched Hashimoto versus Aoki. People really talked that match up. I don't think I'm as high on it as other people. I think it's really cool though. Just it's Hashimoto being a wrestler and Aoki being some mix of an octopus and a bear is where I landed. So that sounds interesting to you. I recommend that you also watch that match. Who is Keigo Nakamura from DDT?
It was when I was watching DDT regularly, he was like a young guy. He was like a trainee who was just debuting. But that was like 5 years ago, so I assume he's just a guy on their roster now.
Perfect. Does appear to be a guy on their roster. Him versus Nakamura versus Harashima and Aoki. I would say that match is very fun. Nakamura, I think it's sort of bland. Doesn't really have a lot of zip to what he does. It comes in stark contrast Harashima, who will blast you into next week at any given moment. And then Aoki and Akiyama have some fun sequences in there. So it's fairly short. Recommend watching that. And that's kind of was my week. Pretty short, pretty sweet. There we go.
So before we get into the big top, I'm just putting this out there to any of the listeners. If anyone knows how I can watch this promotion, Deathmatch Innovative Elements from Japan, DIE, let me know because I want to figure out. I think it's Toshiyuki Sakuda's promotion. I want to see this shit. They look like they're putting on fun matches. So if anyone
All
has a
Sam was
hookup-
talking about before the pod was DEI. Is that the same thing?
No, that's
fuck up.
very different.
Oh, okay.
That is very different. The difference being that, of course, I want to see DIE. No, I'm kidding. But that
All right, before we move on,
DI,
Sam, how many women will make your top 100 for 2024?
I don't know, Dan. Right now,
Too
it's
early?
not looking great. There's
Not looking
there's takes here that are not going to go over well.
Watch some Willow matches.
Willow will
She'll
make
make
it.
She'll
Kat
make
will
it. She'll make a
it.
good 97 on my list.
Exactly. Willow will make it. Stat will make it. Anyone else is. Show me the matches, folks. Just show me the matches. Tell me where I'm going astray. If that match is over 15 minutes long, I'm going to come at you. Full stop.
and that is an actionable threat by Violent People co-founder Sam. Speaking of threats to the listeners, let's go to the big top. And
Okay.
I don't have the horn sound effects, so someone else has to hit
you got to be when I'm on the phone. You have to be slow down.
it. Yeah. There we go.
I have to slide
we're
through two
officially-
menus to get to that.
Well, we all respect your sacrifice and are grateful.
Okay, real fast, Sam. Jordan Grace versus Hashimoto's 13-19. Watch that.
Did you say 13-19? That doesn't make any sense to me.
13 minutes, 19 seconds.
Oh, I thought you were saying a date.
Oh,
and I was
no,
like, there are not
sorry.
13
I was
months in the year.
checking. I was checking to make sure it didn't go over 15 minutes. I didn't want to disrespect you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Sorry, Pat. Carry on.
So our big top this week is I went on a website called the Top Tens. There's another podcast called Podcast About List, and they gave me the idea to go on this website called the Top Tens and see what they had for wrestling. And I found a list you voted on by the users of this website of the biggest jerks in pro wrestling. The other three co-hosts have not seen this list and do not know who these people have decided are the biggest jerks, other than me telling them a few names that were very funny for being just wildly out of place. So before we start, who do you guys think is the number? And bear in mind, this is voted on, so this is in the minds of, the voting population of the top10s.com. Who do you think they have as the biggest jerk in pro wrestling?
Can you remember the name of this website?
The Top Tens.
It's just
Well-
the top tens.
The Top
Okay.
Tens.
That's funny because I saw people talking about this on Twitter today. If this was 10 years ago, it's like Triple H. But like people like him a lot now. People probably call him like Papa H and stuff. Like people are weird. So I don't know.
I'm gonna say Hulk Hogan.
Oh, that's a good shot. I'm gonna
Hulk Hogan
steal that one.
feels like the right move. I'm just gonna
Okay, well,
steal it
I'm
and
going-
say it is Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on that bandwagon.
We're
I'm
all
going to read a
invested.
comment by a user named Robert Wisdom.
It sounds
With a
smart.
name like Robert Wisdom, he's probably pretty wise.
He's got to be smart.
And he says, this guy took steroids to appease McMahon, then proceeded to sleep with McMahon's daughter just so he could get ahead in the business.
I
The
still don't know who
longest,
it is for sure.
slowest, most painful and cringiest promos ever. Racist as anything, and one of the biggest backstage politicians ever. He tried to ruin Kurt Angle's title push and buried many wrestlers by complaining to his wife and father. Countless main events and 14-time champion without ever being as popular as Austin, Rock, or Taker. Parentheses, he has even more title reigns than all three. And now he is an executive in WWE because he married the $1 billion princess. Triple H, you are scum.
Now let me
That is
say,
number one.
let me say
It
if I
is
read it to you
Triple
like
H.
this guy took steroids to appease McMahon, cringiest promos, racist as anything, one of the biggest backstage politicians ever. That could still be Hulk Hogan.
True, but he, number one is Triple H.
Yeah, all right.
Alright.
Should have stuck with my gut.
Everyone, another person says, remember SummerSlam '99?
I don't.
That's
No.
okay.
I don't. Is that my fault?
And,
I don't.
My thing
someone
is,
else,
I thought I did, but what am I remembering? That
I don't know.
Stone Cold wouldn't lose to Triple H?
I think so.
So he must be a jerk. Alright.
All I have to say is look at the promos for his match with Booker T. Awful stuff to make you vomit. Have you guys ever vomited from a wrestling promo?
Oh yeah.
All the time.
Okay. So bear in mind, I'm gonna tell you straight up. Number 2 is not Hulk Hogan,
Fuck.
and it is not
Hulk's really
someone from. It's not someone from WWF, WWE, or WCW.
Wow.
Who do you think is number 2, voted by random website users as the biggest jerk in wrestling?
So you said no WWE, no WCW?
Right, not someone from WWE, WCW, or WWE in the WWF days. Like, was never in the big 2.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What year was this? This voted on?
It is not dated.
Oh,
I like
this
that.
is terrible.
I feel like fucking everyone's worked for one of the two, right?
Yeah, that's a very limited, especially for a fan poll.
Yeah, so he's not going to be like
Is this?
some luchador.
Is it? Is it Invader 2?
Oh, that's good.
No, it is not.
All he did was murder.
But
That's not a big
You're
deal.
on the right track. You're on the right track.
Also, it's a murderer.
Well-
it's someone that killed someone.
Actually, yes.
So it's not. It could be Rey Mysterio, but he worked both those companies.
Sasaki.
It is. Are you ready to hear the big reveal?
Yeah, tell us.
Yeah.
New Jack,
What?
the number
What?
2 biggest jerk in professional
Come
wrestling.
on.
New
This
Jack.
list is bullshit. I only
As
heard
one
nice
person-
stories
one
about New
person's
Jack.
entire comment is the guy cuts people in the ring without their permission.
Who? Just
They
a
should have
couple
wrestled
people.
him.
Another person says he once beat up an old man, real tough guy.
Ooh.
Gypsy Joe.
He beat up, Gypsy Joe.
Okay. Fair
And it
enough.
kind of rules.
Someone else says he just died today and he deserved it.
Oh my god.
That guy seems like a jerk.
I'm just saying, the Discord has to do a lot of work to keep up with the top 10s from what I'm seeing.
Oh my god. We should do this poll again and put it on
Yeah,
people.
the biggest jerks. I mean, I think we already know who would win. It would be like MJF.
Could be Will
No.
Ospreay.
Yeah,
Don't talk
it would
about
be
Will
whoever people don't like from AEW at that moment in time. But number 3 is Mr. Hulk Hogan.
There he
Okay.
is.
You guys weren't far off with the number 1 guess. As explained by user BR1995, he is heavily hated by today's IWC and many wrestlers of his time. Which I think
Yeah.
sums it up, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We wanted him at number 1.
Short-
We're not going to argue him at number 3.
I'm scanning the comments about Hogan, and someone wrote, he is the biggest jerk in wrestling and sexy too.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
So that we've found Jimmy Hart's account. Another person calls Hulk Hogan a weirdo.
Accurate.
All right.
So now that we've made it past Hogan, who do we think is number 4? Who do we think is just under Triple H, New Jack, and Hulk Hogan as
One-
Chris
biggest
Benoit.
jerk?
Jimmy Snuka.
Jimmy Snuka's a good one.
I'm gonna say Benoit is closer to correct than Snuka, but not.
That's an interesting gray area that we're operating in.
Because it's
To be
like,
fair.
Hulk
I think-
Hogan is terrible, but like,
Is he a
Benoit's
jerk?
murderer.
Does killing
But I
your
also-
family make you a jerk?
Yeah, say when
Food for
someone's like
thought.
that. Whenever I find out about a murderer, I don't go, "What a jerk."
Yeah. Is
It is a
having
big
CTE
jerk.
a crime?
It could be.
Maybe it's the other way. Then maybe it's like a Vince Russo.
Well, I like how you said it's closer to Benoit than Snuka, and you're like, yeah, Vince Russo.
Oh, I get what you're saying. No, wait. Okay, I wasn't. I didn't get Pat's comment at first. Okay, Lesnar.
100%.
He's getting fucked in our polling
Brock-
too. The fans don't know shit.
I don't
Brock
understand
Lesnar
this
is
because
the
New
number
Jack
4
died.
biggest jerk,
When did New Jack die?
like 10 years ago.
Oh, you're right. That came out.
So
What
Brock
did-
Lesnar has just been a jerk to people for a decade?
I mean, what did he
Lesnar
do?
is a complete ass. He has no mic skills whatsoever. Lesnar has twice been caught doping in MMA. He is a no-talent hack who should have never been brought back to WWE. Mr. Lesnar needs to be released.
Okay.
If I
No,
would
that's
have
all I
thought
ask.
about,
This is
Lesnar.
if I would have thought about the dates, I never would have guessed
part-time.
Brock.
What's
Yeah,
that? You
this-
never would have guessed Brock if what?
If I would have thought about the dates, Sam's right. Like this is before the law, like all that stuff came out. So
Yeah.
But
then you have to
people
remember,
can
like,
still
oh,
vote
people-
and people can still vote and leave comments.
oh, right now we could vote.
So
We can change
it's
this list.
open-ended.
Okay.
I don't know when, but they don't have any dates on when these comments are
This is
put in.
incredible. I am at a loss for words of what we're doing right now.
This guy is such a tool. He can do a suplex and ... question mark. Anyone not willing to fully
Got him.
commit to WWE is a jerk. Letting a part-timer wear the belt is one example WWE is down in the toilet.
No, I do feel like these comments
Yeah,
are from the
his
right
greatest
period.
his greatest crime, being a part timer.
Yeah.
I can't
Taking
wait
a
till we.
spot from someone more deserving, like Seth freaking Rollins.
I can't wait till we get the fucking Ricochet on the list. Fucking leaving the WWE. Jerk.
Well, I'll tell you, number 5 is not Ricochet, but it's someone from the Monday Night Wars. Do we have any guesses on who from the Monday Night Wars era of wrestling might be the number 5 biggest jerk?
Is this Russo?
It's not Vince Russo.
See, I didn't want to keep. I felt bad for Vince. I keep throwing him out.
Goldberg.
Oh, that's good. He retired Bret Hart.
Exactly.
Any more
Andy
guesses?
quit.
Right. What's that?
Bischoff?
It is Kevin
Oh.
Nash.
Oh,
Oh,
what are we
come
doing here, folks?
Oh my god. You know, Vanilla Midget's voting in this poll.
Well, someone's comment. Chokeslammed his own kid, even though the kid shouldn't have started it, and claimed wrestling died when Benoit and Guerrero were champion. Someone else calls him a bitter has-been who has so many injuries he cannot do much in the ring. Now, number 6 is another left field pick, but the people who it's someone who is basically in for one reason, and I don't know if you guys are going to get. It is a deathmatch legend who did something bad enough that people decided to label him the 6th biggest jerk in wrestling.
Really?
Deathmatch legend.
Death match legend. Well, and when Pat says it, that carries some weight here.
Well, it's funny when you think about
It could be
deathmatch
anyone.
legends. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Okay. See, I was thinking like a lot of the guys, like, you know, Foley and Funk, like you have positive thoughts about them. Necro feels like he's done more than one thing to be.
Yeah, he's
jerk.
The
yeah,
people voting here don't know who Necro is.
That's true too.
yeah. And I'm also assuming the bulk of this was voted on 10 years ago.
Abdullah the Butcher.
Correct.
Because he gave
Oh.
everyone Hep.
Because he gave people Hep C. He gave Hannibal
Yeah,
Hep C.
perfect.
Yep.
See, yeah,
Yeah, listen to Hannibal
you
talk
really
a
do
little
have to
bit.
think 10
Maybe
years
you
ago.
will
'Cause that
too.
feels like when all this shit was being talked about.
But even with the 10 years ago thing, I'm not sure you can guess who number 7 is.
Any hints here?
Because even I am just like mystified. I have no justification beyond people just don't like this guy.
$10 years ago.
Bret Hart.
No, that's you, Sam.
Oh yeah, I just fucking hate that guy. He sucks.
We already
Is he a
had
top
Randy
500
Orton.
wrestler of all time?
Randy Orton is close.
He's
John
shit in a
Cena?
bag.
It is the animal, Dave Bautista. the
Oh, I was
7th
crazy
biggest
close.
jerk. I was
Wow.
scrolling down to see if Bret Hart made the list at all, but he is not in the top 50 vote getters. Number 49 is
Wow.
Sting.
But you got to think 10 years ago, or it's like, I guess it's probably like 11, is when he wins the Rumble and people are
Yeah,
furious.
he comes exactly. Man,
Yep.
this really does feel like a time capsule.
And it's funny because
Sucks
it's like him winning and not Daniel Bryan, worse than Benoit.
True, because Chris
That's the
Benoit was
thing.
number 8.
Perfect.
There you go. It's only slightly worse than Benoit, but it is worse than Benoit.
Listen to this description of Batista. Greedy chump who thinks he is the greatest guy on the planet. Calls himself a real man, but has a belly button tattoo and wears skinny jeans. He is always on Triple H's nuts.
Also, he's
And
a
that-
libtard.
Ugh.
10 years ago, that wasn't as bad. But yeah, definitely, Batista worse than the child murderer.
No,
So
like I
with
said,
Benoit,
this is 10 years later. I don't think that Benoit or Batista would make a top 10 nowadays.
so with the 10-year thing in mind, number 9 is definitely a 10 years ago type thing. 10 years ago, people were very angry at Mr. Number 9. Do we have any thoughts as to who people might have vehemently hated in the moment 10 years ago?
Roman Reigns.
That's great. That's
Any-
a great pick.
Do we have any other guesses?
I don't. I don't.
I
is
don't know.
CM Punk.
It's just
It's
Yeah,
about to say
see, that makes sense.
Yeah.
He left.
Dumped on WWE after everything they offered him. Accuses Ryback of purposefully damaging
yes.
CM Punk is a straight up ass.
So this is like February 2014 is when this is taking place.
Yeah.
It feels like yeah.
Yeah.
This is making me young again.
This is like
Robert
yeah.
Wisdom-
This is awesome.
Yeah, I'm drinking from
Robert
the fountain
Wisdom-
of youth.
Mr. Robert Wisdom has popped back up to say, if the infamous scripted, quote unquote, pipe bomb
God.
promo never happened, nobody would care about him. Get over yourself.
True.
Also, Robert Wisdom also says that CM Punk is, well, he correctly says that CM Punk is delusional to think he can be a real fighter in the UFC. So there is some wisdom there. Number
Who
10.
knew that they're like, hey, he's got 10 more years. He can be a jerk in all different sorts of ways still.
Yeah, I mean, what's awesome is that, like, there are 6 comments about CM Punk. None of them reference like all the stuff he did to women back on the indies.
They don't know about
anyone
that.
gets, the closest anyone gets is someone's entire comment is married to AJ Lee. He must be a jerk.
I don't know what that means.
I
Wait,
I don't know.
Sure, why not?
wait, is it married AJ Lee must be a jerk?
Yes, he must be a jerk because he married AJ Lee.
Alright.
That's the entire comment. There's no context given.
I like to imagine that guy thought it was his shot.
Maybe actually, you know what? I think we found Jay Lethal's account. So I'll give a hint for number 10. It is someone who, former WWE champion.
Is it someone we guessed already?
No,
Ultimate Warrior.
That's good.
Wow, that's good.
WWE champion. Jerk. Probably Bruno Sammartino talking all that shit about Vince.
I'm just trying to roll through my head here. This is not easy. This is some,
you're gonna like smack your forehead when I say who it is.
Randy Savage.
Well, kind of close. Let's read Though Martin 19's comment before we do the big reveal. He's a moron who likes to target new wrestlers and beat them to a pulp because he's too chicken to fight an experienced wrestler. Not to mention he lost to many professional wrestlers and could easily get dropped by any good wrestler out of the ring and maybe out of the business. That is what Though Martin 19 says about John Bradshaw Layfield. He's the 10th jerk in wrestling.
Yeah, I figured it out when you said he beat up younger wrestlers. I was
Yeah.
like, oh.
Wow.
There are 3 comments on here in a row. A nasty bully, end comment. A horrible bully, end comment. A vile bully, end comment. Someone Someone here is a huge dumbass because he thinks that is a negative that JBL made Mauro Ranallo quit. So I'm just saying, anonymous user of the top 10s, you're wrong on that one. That one is a 0.4 JBL. Number 11 is Invader number 1.
Wait, what?
Invader number 1 is number 11. We're back to a murderer.
Okay.
So I'm just going to go through. Number 12 is the Ultimate Warrior. And this is for, you can tell this is 10 years ago because all the people calling the Ultimate Warrior a huge jerk, it's all for political reasons.
Oh, he'd have a position in the cabinet if it was today.
Yeah, he RFK Jr. would have lost out. It would be him and the Ultimate Warrior going for Secretary of Health, and Trump would absolutely go with the Ultimate Warrior. Number 13 is AJ Lee.
What did she do? I guess married the punk?
Someone says,
Yeah.
why do people get annoyed about AJ Lee haters? They're right. She is very rude in real life. Another person's comment
The
is,
guy went to school with her.
another person's comment is, she is hot.
All right. There we go.
So I
Anytime
guess
see a hot
people
girl
are,
outside, I'm like, jerk.
people are mad at her for, at least one commenter is mad because she wouldn't take a picture with them. Now, number 14 has no comments whatsoever, so I have no idea. Superstar Billy Graham.
Sure, why not?
I mean, that's kind of like, okay, I guess because he talks shit about WWE and steroids and stuff.
Which is
But
a little
number
fucked up.
15, I think we can all agree on number 15, Hardcore Holly. Which leads us, I'm gonna cut it off here at number 16, the 16th biggest jerk in the history of wrestling, Vince McMahon.
Yeah, not nearly as big of a jerk as AJ Lee.
He's definitely a less big jerk than Hardcore Holly. One
Well,
commenter.
this is 10 years ago. We only had mountains and mountains of evidence that Vince was bad.
User EU619 says his voice every time he screams "You're fired" breaks my eardrums. He doesn't know how to run the company without messing up.
That's probably the worst stuff about Vince.
I can't imagine what could be worse.
Another person says Stone Cold should have shot him.
Yeah, for sure.
But
I
then
get
Stone
that.
Cold to be
I
on the list.
mean,
I don't know.
I mean, beating
So
a woman didn't
Goldberg
get him on
is
the
number
list, so
18. Yeah, Bubba Ray Dudley's 20. Melina is 21 for some reason.
hot chicks
Dynamite
are
Kid is
jerks.
Dynamite Kid is number 24. There are 23 people who people thought are worse than Dynamite Kid. And right below at number 27 is Daniel Bryan.
What's the comments there? He's vegan?
Yeah, I don't know if he's a jerk, but he is boring and overrated.
Perfect.
Another person says always says yes and stuff.
You do be saying that.
Hey, that's
Okay,
true.
no, this is a great one. Arrogant, but doesn't do anything worthy of his arrogance. Just kicks kneeling guys in the chest, does layback drop kicks, and dives between the ropes. Unless you're disabled, you could do what he does.
it's
You
true.
know what?
Daniel,
He's not ableist. Great for him.
I have.
and Daniel Bryan really doesn't do that many moves when you think about it.
I have
mean,
been saying
one thing
that
I-
he'd be number 1 on my DWE list, but maybe he's off of it. This brings up a lot of good points I got to think about.
He already should not be number 1 on your GWE list.
Well, it's just that he's the greatest wrestler ever.
Number 46 is JBL again.
Okay.
What?
He's so mean. He
They
made the
have him-
list twice.
What an official
he's
polling
in-
system they have over there.
He's
This
in
sounds like
under
some
JBL
Violent
and
People
John
stuff.
Bradshaw Layfield.
You would never find this kind of shoddy work over here at Violent People. We're always
Okay.
checking on everything.
The next time we do the Hall of Fame, you have to pick someone from the top 20 biggest jerks as at least one of your nominees.
Oh my god.
I mean, we've nominated multiple.
That's true. I'd say we dominated Lesnar and New Jack. Is there anyone else I'm forgetting?
Punk.
Oh, Punk, yeah. Oh yeah, Sam's furious that I like Ring of Honor. It's like keeping him up at night.
Yeah, like who gives
Oh,
a shit,
Bret Hart-
Dan? Congrats, you're like a
Bret
promotion
Hart-
everyone's liked.
Bret
Do
Hart
something
did
new
make
with your
number
life.
29. Number 29 is Mr. Bret Sargent Hart, and Robert Wisdom will close us out on this list with he believes his own hype, a self mark.
Is Robert Wisdom Sam?
Let's see what
we're-
other.
Bret Hart. He
Deep
insists
profile.
upon himself.
Yeah. Robert Wisdom did the top 10 WWF/E belts.
Now I know it's Sam.
And then he didn't put any photos on.
That's
Great
crazy.
job, Robert.
It's just like we all know what they look like.
Found Robert Wisdom.
Number 1, the Divas bout.
You could say literally anything now, and I would believe you.
So Robert Wisdom also not a big Chris Brown fan. He's I'm looking at his comments on other lists, and he's just going around to any list that has Chris Brown on it and being like he sucks. He also says that Billie Eilish is only mainstream so he can push antichrist doctrine to Gen Yers.
Now I am always saying that.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. Okay, I pulled this site up so I can find more Robert Wisdom, and the first quote I see from him is, "This is about Dr. Mario. Just Tetris with Mario in a doctor outfit."
It's not true.
That's a lie.
Tetris is
You
a
can just
way
lie on the
better
internet like
game.
that? It's messed up.
Apparently. Okay, before we get to the questions, who's everyone's biggest jerk in wrestling that hasn't been named yet? Go.
It's a
It
heavy
hasn't
question,
been
Dan.
named yet. I'm gonna say Adam Priest.
That's good. I was gonna say Tony Khan.
Paul Heyman.
Yeah, it's actually I'm shocked that Paul Heyman was not on that. Anywhere in that top 50.
He seemed
I'm,
like a real winner.
I'm gonna say Daniel Makabe.
What do you got? He's just speaking truth
mean-
out here. Why would you be mad at him?
He's tied with Tim for biggest jerk on that podcast for sure.
Wow. Now this is how we're not ever going to have Daniel Makabe on the show.
Daniel, you hear? I didn't say anything. You defended me, so I gotta have your back. His
By not
defense
saying
was
anything.
not a misogynist. That's all I get.
Oh, okay, that's fair. That's what equal.
Yeah.
Well, Robert Wisdom also says about Mao Zedong, I'd say he is a dumbass.
Fuck yeah.
We
I
should
think,
talk about what's going on the
you know,
website this week.
We should.
anything
but,
going
We have a
on?
new
before we
writer
do that, I want you
named
guys.
Robert Wisdom.
Yeah, next time I can't be here, I need you guys to find Robert Wisdom and plug him into the fourth chair.
Is there no contact information on this website that you're on? Is there no way to go
We
to his
will-
profile and be like, "Hey, can I
Does
DM you?"
this, yeah, does this website have DMs?
Can you
We
start
will
tagging
investigate
him?
off the air.
Oh my god,
I sadly don't see a way I can DM this man.
this fucking sucks. Tan's so good at hunting down people and making their life miserable.
I haven't given up yet. Oh, I didn't know that Robert Wisdom was the name of that actor from the Bunny from The Wire.
Yeah, I've already posted it.
I didn't realize that was his real name. You think this is really him?
That's what I was thinking. You know? Does he have any thoughts on Chris Brown anywhere on the internet?
I'm looking.
Mao
Now I
Zedong.
do have I do have an IMDb Pro account. I could maybe find his agent's number.
I don't think this is the same Robert Wisdom.
I have to
You know,
ask his
but
agent to find out. I want to ask for
if
confirmation.
you have the IMDb Pro, you can also reach out to like a Paradigm or whatever agency is representing all the wrestlers now, and see.
Oh,
if,
I've
you know,
already talked to
I can't
him.
be on. If I
Mojo.
can't be on, maybe Tiffany Stratton will be fourth chair.
It was so weird to see Mojo at like I think last year's Super Bowl. With a bunch of my like ex-colleagues and a bunch of wrestlers. And I was like, this is weird. I don't like this. This shouldn't be happening.
Okay.
He'll give
What's
you
he
a good
done with
rate
that?
on some Instagram post.
Do you think I should reach out to his publicist or his manager?
Manager?
Gotta do both.
You're talking
Gotta-
business here.
Okay. All right.
Policies aren't shit.
Ben Levin.
That's not a real name.
Because we should
So,
beep
never
that
mind.
name just to avoid people doing anything on our behalf. Wink, wink.
I'll read his phone number out loud on the internet right now.
So what else we got going on the website other than the management of Robert Wisdom coming after us?
Sam?
Where are we at with the top 100 of the 2010s?
It's coming like so fast. So fast. I should have one up tomorrow. I forgot like a crucial piece that I was adding to these posts, and I was like, oh,
Which
I gotta reformat everything.
which wrestler got left out this time?
It was Chris Hero again.
And that'll be 70 to 61.
70 to 61. And I've already gotten started on 60 to 51. So that might come out Friday at the latest Monday. I think we're getting back on track here. I was traveling all weekend, no access to a computer. But I'm rip roaring ready to go. I gotta go to Connecticut. There's nothing there.
What were you doing to connect? Oh,
Funeral. Funeral,
yeah,
Dan.
sorry.
You want to
Sorry
talk
about
about my great-father-in-law again?
I mean, I
Well,
figured it out halfway through the sentence, but I had already asked it. I'm sorry.
Did you make the trip to Stamford while you were there?
Oh, I didn't.
They only just sold the old Titan Tower building.
I know. You know what? I missed out on a clear opportunity. But that's coming. We got anything else coming? Anything else in the hopper? Dan, you said we have a new writer?
I was making a joke about Robert Wisdom.
Oh,
We do have someone new that wants to write for us, but I don't think we have anything forthcoming from them.
concrete. Nothing set in stone.
Oh, actually, I do have something they wrote, but I don't know if it's going up soon. I'll send it to you guys.
Is it another Ron rewatch?
No, something the new person wrote. I'm not writing until I get a
Oh.
computer.
Oh, that's so real. All right.
Yeah, I got
How's
some
that
stuff
coming?
typed up in my. I just gotta go pick it up.
Oh, so it's there. You gotta stop
It's
having
30
the flu.
It's 30 minutes away.
Oh, yeah.
I
That's
understand.
tough.
I understand.
And it's east. I don't usually go east. You know how it is.
Yeah, I'm always going west.
Yeah.
A vote. You should vote.
For the Hall of
VP.
Fame.
Vote in the VP
Anything we've
2010,
proven has shown that you should not
or
vote.
not the VP 2010, the VP 100.
It's
There's
VP
too many-
2010. That ship has sailed.
You cannot
Yeah.
vote for that anymore.
Yeah, your fate is sealed on that one, but you still have time to change the fate of the VP 100.
And that's
So, I
exciting.
mean-
Your vote could change it all.
The fun challenge for everyone let's see if someone can beat me to being high vote on Jade Cargill.
You can't. You can't.
Yeah, it's-
Oh man,
There's a number higher than 1?
0.
I'm the high
Yeah, I
voter on
didn't-
somebody in this coming up batch, and it really shocked me.
I
Yeah, you're a
almost
high
put
voter on
Jade
a lot,
Cargill at
folks.
number 1. I was worried that Chris would throw out my ballot if I actually put Jade Cargill at number 1, so I think she's like number 8.
That's very funny. Yeah, I think I'm a high voter on like 3 of these people, but 2 of them I was expecting, 1 I wasn't.
One of them you beat me by 1. So I was pissed.
Is
Let me
that
tell ya.
Gulak?
Whoa, spoilers, Dan, but yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
jeez.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Well,
he
they
didn't
don't
say
know
which-
where. They don't know where he is in that 10.
Okay. When you're right,
But
you're
no,
right.
that's why I was shocked. I thought you would be higher than me on him. So I beat you by 1 for Gulak and by, was it 2 or 3 for Guerrero Mayo Jr.?
1. Like
One again.
Yeah.
Man,
You're,
it's like I got
It's
your list. I
ridiculous.
just moved everybody up.
yeah. Oh man. Anyway, folks, I can say with certainty that you should vote in the VP 100 ranking the best wrestlers of 2024. It is a list based in history, based in standards for professional wrestling. And maybe
And
this
I got
year
it.
we don't have 20 AEW wrestlers in the top 20.
You got until March 10th. That's a long time.
And it's insane that you have time to be this far into a podcast of us making fun of Robert Wisdom and the top 10s, but you don't have the time to fill out a VP 100 ballot.
Yeah, we got to be over 90 minutes into this point. And you guys can't fill out a ballot?
Yeah, you should have been working on your ballot while listening to this. So you
I
have to
think-
now rewind to the start of the podcast, listen to it over again while working on your ballot. If you already voted, just do a second ballot for fun.
Don't do that. Don't do a
This
second
is not
ballot.
this is not the official position of
submit it
violent
to a
people,
second ballot.
but 50 people ballots are for cowards. Do the full 100.
You're allowed to do a 50-person ballot, folks. It's okay.
I said it wasn't the official position. It's just my position.
And
It's
the
okay.
people who think that they don't watch enough wrestling to, have a good take, who cares? Do it anyway.
Yeah, you've watched more wrestling than me. I nearly guarantee it. I'm gonna still submit a 100 ballot. I don't care.
You beat me to
I
it,
don't
Sam.
care.
I was going to say, Sam runs this site. He doesn't even watch wrestling.
Just think hard about your top 20, and for the remaining 80, put in like 1/4 of the AEW roster. Are we ready for some Q&AR, boys?
Always.
So Ollie
Yep.
asks,
I think it's pronounced Porrick.
except I'm reading Ollie,
I
who
know.
asks, best marching band entrances in wrestling history. He doesn't put a question mark there, so it could just be a statement or a sentence fragment, but I think he's asking, what are the best marching band entrances in wrestling history?
Okay, I'm going to hijack this question real fast. So,
Go for it.
I've been gone for 2 weeks. In that 2 weeks, I've been to 2 cheer competitions, which I'm going to hijack my own answer and say in Columbus, Elite Cheer Center, Moonlight came in first in the division, best pyramid. They're amazing. But the first one I went to was in Charlotte. It's called Spirit of Hope. It's named after this little girl, Hope, who was dying. She got a Make-A-Wish. And her wish was that all 155 people on the waiting list would get their wishes. So they show a video explaining that. And this little girl's like, I lived a great life already. I've been to Disney World. I swam with the dolphins. I just want these kids to get what they want. And then, it became this huge thing. And so you're watching it and you're bawling. And As the video ends, her parents are thanking you for coming to this competition because your money helps fund the charitable foundation that they started in her honor. The second the video ends, the lights come on and a marching band comes out on stage. I guess to pick up the vibes. It was very shocking. But I don't remember a single one from wrestling.
Does she think that like they don't want to give these kids their wishes?
No, I think she said she
Maybe
wanted
she
her money
does.
to go towards it. And then, I mean, her wish it happened because she wished that they, the bunch of fundraisers got made and, she went on the local radio and people started hearing about it, started getting in newspapers and, I think local sports teams started throwing money at them and they raised, millions of dollars and everyone on the wait list at that period of time got their wish, which doesn't usually happen. She
Fun
also is
stuff.
a little girl dying. She's a little girl dying of cancer. She's okay if she's not thinking it all the way through.
Oh, I don't know about that. Anyway,
Where would we
Marching
put her
bands.
on the biggest jerks of wrestling list?
She hates WWE. She told me
47.
that.
Tie with JBL the second.
But what are the big ones in wrestling? Is that a thing that I'm not thinking of? I just don't.
I
Care
have
about
no
that
idea
stuff,
what
I
this
guess.
question was asking. I was like, what marching band entrances?
Didn't The Rock have one?
Cody had one last year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the New Day come out with the marching band at one point.
Yeah, every now and then, the UCLA marching band gets brought out every now and then for huge big deal. I'm gonna kind of not go within the strictures of marching band entrances. I am going to say my number 8 wrestler of 2024, Jade Cargill's entrance at Double or Nothing 2023, when she came out doing a dance routine honoring the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. And not quite a marching band, but good enough for government work.
I'm going to go the exact opposite. I'm going to go a marching band performance that has nothing to do with wrestling. I'm going to go the greatest marching band performance is the USC Trojans marching band performing on the Fleetwood Mac song Tusk.
Yeah, when I said the UCLA band, I think I meant the USC band. But yes, you are correct there.
I have no answer.
That's okay.
Same.
We're gonna say the Chris Warren band playing the DX theme live. So Ty asks, boxers or briefs?
I wear
Boxers.
boxer briefs.
Yeah, I think everyone wears boxer briefs nowadays.
Yeah, it's 2025. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, come on, Ty. Eamon asks, what wrestling match has the biggest gap in quality between the wrestling and the commentary? And it's interesting that he doesn't specify in what direction.
Oh, that's interesting. What has the best commentary was the worst match?
Yeah, it could be the worst match with the best commentary. It could be the best match with the worst commentary. And I'm going to say the worst match with the best commentary is the AAA one where Vampiro farted on so loud that his mic picked it up. That is the best commentary moments of all time. You can't take it away from him. I don't even remember what the match was.
See, I don't know, but I just turn off bad commentary. I'm not listening to Veda Scott or Kevin Gill. So I don't know.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm in the same boat. I can't really have an answer.
I'm trying to remember if the fart was the same match where the production team screwed up Vampiro's surprise entrance and he was screaming at them on his headset, play his music.
Vampiro, not one of the biggest jerks.
Vampiro is the best commentator in history.
I was gonna say, speaking of Vampiro, I almost said the Hell of War match in Lucha Underground with Matt Stryker talking about fucking the War on Terror but that's actually awesome.
I mean, yeah, there's some commentary that's so bad it comes around to being like more entertaining than the match that you're watching. Most bad commentary like is just like Veda Scott. So Logan asks, "What's the best Scorsese film you could turn into a GCW angle?" And
Anything's
I
possible
assume
in the
his
world of GCW.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, which films of Scorsese could they not turn into a,
I
again?
want
think-
to see the GCW silence angle.
Okay.
The
I'm
Last
like,
Temptation
listen,
of Joey Janela?
last. I was gonna say the last temptation of Jimmy Lloyd.
Oh, that's
Oof.
much better.
I feel like
I-
they could do a
it is-
fun Shutter Island bit.
It is so fucking funny that Jimmy Lloyd is stuck in England.
He's a
He
different
lost his
boy, man.
He lost his passport. He's like stuck at the American embassy in London.
Well, they
Yeah,
said he lost his passport twice on the same trip.
Just an amazing human being.
He's a
Wrestlers
different
are
boy.
wrestlers are a different breed from the rest of us.
I do have to say, one time I threw away an envelope that had both my birth certificate and my social security card in it. So, like, I feel him.
Dan, what are you doing?
It's even worse. I was on my way to the courthouse where I needed them, and I start cleaning out my car at the gas station, and I guess I see the envelope and I go, I don't need this. Just real idiot stuff.
Get it to frickin' gather.
And that's why there is another Dan Rice running around.
He can have it.
He deserves
Uh,
it more.
Ducky asks, favorite Saw?
2.
1.
We're gonna say 10.
Oh,
I'm gonna say it's a tie. They're all amazing.
correct answer. That's the correct answer, except for 3D.
I
I appreciate-
to those who do not follow us on Twitter, by the way, I did ask Effie what his favorite Saw movie was, and he said 2.
The most important Effie discourse of the week.
Of course.
Yeah.
So
That's all we're talking about.
Charting the chart so far is Ezekiel Jackson says Saw 1, Effie says Saw 2, and we'll see who gets asked next.
Now,
Uh,
do we
Jim,
know,
Joey's thoughts.
what about Jigsaw and Spiral? Are those included in this?
They
Does
count.
Jigsaw-
They're
wait.
canonical.
Okay.
Does Jigsaw the Chikara wrestler have a Twitter?
No, but Dan, does he have a Facebook?
I'm not Facebook friends with him, but I can be as soon as possible.
Yeah,
we,
I
we got
appreciate
that's
that
your
too.
mission for the week.
Get better and
Uh,
friend request Jigsaw.
Meanwhile, Justice asks, "Is Triple H Brat?"
I don't like the
no.
question.
No, he's
I
not.
think this question is a trap, and I refuse to enter it.
Jigsaw does have a Twitter.
Good.
Do you see that there's like a new Chikara bullshit happening?
There's a new Chikara like every month.
That's fair. But it really bothered me because it was who is it? It's Gran Akuma, and then who's the other guy? I can't think of his name right now. I don't know. One of the other guys from
Not
Fist,
quite.
but they're like the reunion of Fist, but it's Gran Akuma and a guy he never teamed with. So it's not a Fist reunion. But go on.
I'm that short circuited my brain. So
I'm sorry. I don't even know what the promotion is called, so I couldn't even Google it if I wanted to.
well, Isabel asks, "Is Bret Hart Brat?"
Bret Hart.
No. Stop. Don't say that. No one likes it, Dan.
Tim asks, what does everyone think of Nicole Matthews for the 2024 VP 100? And again, I think this question is a trap that I refuse to enter.
She might make my
Currently
list.
not on my list.
She might make my list. I gotta. If I watch too much Kahagas, though, she's in trouble.
You're just trying to beat the allegations.
100%.
And we've got Justice again to bring us to a close with what was the most overrated match of 2024?
The CMLL.
Anything with Will Ospreay?
The CMLL AEW Atomica.
Whoa.
You know what? Yeah, that's right. I was immediately gonna say the Sting retirement match.
Oh, that's the
But-
real answer, and I like that match.
That
That's
is
the
the
real
real
answer. People are acting
No,
like that
that's-
fucking changed wrestling.
No, that's the actual match of the year.
Like I saw
think it's
Sting's
both.
son do an okay splash. I'm fucking. What do I do with myself?
I like that
I
match.
think people were. I think there are a lot of people who want to act like they hate the Young Bucks, and then we're confronted with proof that the Young Bucks are actually sick. So it
I
just
don't hate the
overloaded
Young
it.
Bucks. I feel like
I don't either. I think they're good.
I think they're good. I had people telling me that they didn't like the cage match with the Lucha Bros. I'm like, I don't know about that.
It's
I
not.
think that match was sick.
It's not our kind of people, but CM Punk versus Drew is overrated.
That
I ain't
brought
watching that, Dan.
that brought violence back to the World Wrestling Entertainment.
It's true.
Wow. They did that?
They did that.
And then
Okay,
if I'm just gonna confront people that'll never listen to the podcast, Josh Alexander versus Will Ospreay, I think got 5 stars from Meltzer, which is like the funniest thing in the world. It might have got more than 5 stars.
The highest rated
mean,
team in a match ever.
The thing with overrated is like anything Meltzer rates nowadays is by definition overrated because the scale is so deranged.
Yeah, 5.5 for that one. 5.5.
5.5.
5.5.
5.5?
Yeah, I think overrated is, sorry for the question asker, a dumb question. Especially
I
like
can, you know,
Yeah, Justice.
you know, if you rephrase the question as like, what match does everyone else seem to like, but you don't like as much? I'm going to say basically the entire everything except for the Swerve Hangman death match from last year, or not last year, from 20. Was it in 2023? When the one where Adam Page was drinking Swerve's blood and sucking him off and stuff.
That's
That match was cool. That match was cool. The rest of their feud, I thought, was just, you know, stuff. Like, especially when they had that half-hour TV draw, and I was just like, this actually fucking sucks ass. But again, I don't know if it's overrated because I don't hear a lot of people, at least, you know, in the circle that we have on the Discord, people are not going like, you know, Swerve versus Hangman, fucking awesome. But I just did not find the main event feud between them particularly compelling. I also don't find Adam Page particularly compelling, and Swerve is a guy I like but don't love. So,
Sam, what is the most overrated match of 2023?
why are you asking me these questions, Dan?
I
You
was
think I
trying to
remember the year 2023?
I was trying to softball you the Muda retirement match.
Oh. What the fuck are people smoking with that?
You
I
let
had
me
to
down.
yell at some just brain dead morons about that match for hours.
Some people don't know ball. Some people who think Saw 2 is the best Saw.
The Muda retirement, I think, genuinely made me mad. It is the Sting retirement match of this year, but worse in pretty much every conceivable way. So that all checks out. Thanks, Dan, for the reminder.
I got you.
Yeah, I blacked out of those conversations last year. Do we have any more questions?
I think that might
We
be
do
it.
not have any.
Wow.
We do not
Can't
have any
believe
more
that, folks.
And I asked,
But we
this
do have
morning-
the promised Chris's movie corner.
but then no
Oh,
one asked the movie question.
yeah.
That doesn't mean we
On
can't
the
have
corner.
a movie corner.
That's fair.
Do you guys have questions for Chris's movie corner?
What was the
Yeah,
best
what do you
movie of
wanna talk about?
2024?
That would be The Beast.
I should have seen that. I didn't. That's on me.
It's
Who-
very very good.
Who are the
That's it.
biggest jerks in movies?
That Harvey Weinstein is a real piece of work, let me tell you.
I was gonna say he's around number 16 on the list.
Did you see Amelia Perez?
I watched some of it, and
Glowing endorsement.
then I said, God damn, as someone who watches a lot of garbage bullshit, I cannot do this.
That's crazy. I love it.
See, I got scared off by the reaction to that movie. I really like Jacques Audiard on a lot of his older stuff. His movie A Prophet is really, really good. So that kind of like seeing the visceral hatred towards Amelia Perez has me like, okay, maybe I'll just pretend this one doesn't exist and move on rather than tarnish my enjoyment of his previous works.
Yeah,
Seems like the right call.
It is a real baffler.
Speaking of bafflers, I'm going to recommend this movie to you, Chris, and to you, Sam, and to you, Dan, and to you, the listener. A movie called The Instructor from either 1981 or 1983. I don't remember. It is a kung fu movie filmed locally in Akron, Ohio.
Oh shit!
Okay.
That's where LeBron's from.
It is. I don't know how to describe the plot of this movie other than it is a kung fu movie made on the cheap in Akron, Ohio. Starring a protagonist who makes Rey Mysterio look like a giant, and his friend who more or less has the same body proportions as Giant Baba. And they have a rival dojo. They have a mentally disabled man who wants to be a ninja and gets beaten up by children. And the entire last third of the movie, remember, this is a kung fu movie. Well, I should say it's a karate movie because these guys take pains to make it clear they do karate, not kung fu. It is a karate movie where the last quarter to a third of the movie is a muscle car chase through the streets of Akron, followed by a dirt bike chase through the streets of Akron. I give it my highest recommendation of 1 star out of 5.
If I was a
That's-
black belt, she would like me, and if she didn't, I'd punch her in the face.
Yes, that is the mentally disabled Eugene type character.
Okay, all right.
Who
This
is,
movie appears to be on YouTube, so that's helpful.
I should say, that character is the only one with a voiceover in the movie, and he has a significant amount of voiceover lines. We spend a lot of time in the head of the. I'm not sure if he was supposed to be mentally disabled or just deranged. I'm not sure if the people making the movie knew the difference. But he is the sort of guy whose first appearance in the movie is dressing up as a ninja and getting beaten up by children. And his last appearance in the movie is him bashing someone to death with a trophy. And it's just a love letter to Akron, Ohio.
Just
With
some
that,
kids from Akron.
Just some kids from Akron. Just like the 44-0. With that, gentlemen, do we have anything else for our dear friends, the listeners, before we depart?
I gotta let you know, I can't let you end on that. Akron's area code's not 440, but go on. It's okay.
Okay, well,
It's
I
330 there.
apologize. I apologize to the state of Ohio, to the Bev, to the Kogers, etc.
Though I think some of those motherfuckers are from Akron. I'm just letting you know. They're
Okay.
fronting about their
Well,
440 eligibility.
Maybe that's what the split is about.
Yeah, probably.
No, they should have like a 44-0 like movie where they
Why would you
have a
tell them
dirt
that?
bike chase. They absolutely need to do like a low budget movie where, you know, Otis Koger is the villain and they go on like an ATV race through the streets of, you know, Columbus or whatever. But on that note, do we have anything else for these fine people?
God,
Yeah,
I hope
nothing.
not.
All right. Well, folks, until next time, see you in hell.